Okay, here we go. Another segment of the old slot car for dummies. I had a problem here with my Smartrace, not wanting to allow me to reassign racers to different controllers. So I'd go into, a week ago we had a race, so everybody's logged in there. When I open my race, my Smartrace, those racers are still there, and I got some new people that showed up, so I go to change, and lo and behold, it changes them, and as soon as we start the race and we come around, it's showing the old people. So I wound up getting a hold of Mark and everything, and we went through a bunch of troubleshooting and virtually couldn't figure out what it was. So I probably got some corrupted thing in my iPad, who knows. So he suggested that I just download the app, get rid of the old app, download the app again. I didn't have to repay for anything, and so I'm going to kind of show you guys, since I got to restart over now and do whatever, kind of give you a little quick intro to the Smartrace if you're not familiar with it. So I turn on my power, turn on my track. Okay.
It may be beyond my abilities at the moment.
I got the Smartrace going here, so what you're really looking at here is the starting screen, basically. I mean, if I come out of here, I'll show you how it starts. Okay. Now this is me opening Smartrace. It'll try to connect to my track.
3,
There it's
2,
connecting.
1, go!
So what you got, this is a little widget I created with the alpha in there, and that's my track record. I've only run that one car on here, and that's one of those BRMs, no magnet, and I was happy with that time. That's my Dunlop. That's a picture of my track in the background. But essentially, you come in here, you come to this top squiggly, open the main menu. Here you go to control assignments. Now, what would happen, it shows up like this because I'm the only one in here now, but you virtually tap on, say, number 2, boom, make that me the driver, my alpha, and then I would save it. But I'll go in here, since I'm already on that there. To take it off, you just tap it. That'll make it unassigned. Well, get rid of the car, get rid of me. Now I'm unassigned, but I'm on number 2. So save that. Now you can come into control colors. You can set your controllers. If I wanted that to be black or gray, whatever I could, but my one is red. This is the colors I have them set at. You can set them whatever colors you want. Okay, you come into settings, and basically here it gives you driving, race screen, sounds, and miscellaneous. Well, I've got the sound off, but normally if I went to ambient sound, and you can pick all these, like F1 hybrid, GT, so we'll just go GT. And it's kind of annoying for a video's sake, that's why I turned it off, but this is just a example of what it would do. Save the setting. Now you're going to have that sound, constantly in the background. Adds for a little reality, I think, but for this video purpose, I'll just leave it off. So get rid of that. Turn that all the way down, save. Okay, back into settings. And so for driving, my active track is my TNT Motorsports Complex. Ignore the ghost cards because I don't run ghost cards when we're racing, and I don't run a safety car, so that gets ignored. Detect and missed laps. I don't have any check lane things, so I leave that off. If you undercut the track minimums, then it doesn't count your lap, but I don't have that set in there either. So basically disable track after event ends, and I do that because when you cross that finish line, if somebody's, coming up behind you, they would slam into you if you stop. So with that set like that, it just kills the track power to everyone as soon as the winner crosses. And let's see, go to race screen. So you have, what it's calling out things, it's displaying my active track. It's asking you what you want to display. So average speed time, the drivers, you can change that and do like car and logo, or the driver. I just have mine on driver, so it shows a picture of the person. Display grid lights. I mean, it's just endless, some of this, things you have on there. You can choose to have your penalty button showing up on the screen so you could touch it there. We run the Smartrace Connect, which allows everybody's smartphone to act as like a chaos button, so if you crash, you hit it. And it automatically assesses a 5-second penalty for that. And let's go back to settings and sounds. You heard that. Basically, it's gonna count down sounds. If you got a caution, it'll call that out. You can turn all that stuff off, because what I found is if you get a lot of stuff, you got 6 people racing and it's calling out new leader, new lap time, best lap, 5 seconds, whatever, 5 laps, till it can get bogged down there to where you'll go in the pits, fuel up, serve a penalty, leave. You can be 2/3 the way back around the track before it says you left the pits, because it's got a lot of stuff to say. So I have it saying a lot of stuff, but I cut a lot of things out, because it just gets to be too much at some point, I think. Some people like it, but when it starts to get behind, I think that's too much. So I'll take things out if it has a problem keeping up, or it's a personal preference, I guess, but I have it say quite a bit of stuff, so it's constantly there. And then miscellaneous, so that's like debug mode. Mark said probably ought to keep that on, because then somehow you can send him like a copy of the backup, and he can see different things that may have happened if you have a problem. I've had this for a year, and that was the first time I had a problem, and I'm running it down to my iPad has gotten old, and who knows, what got in there to corrupt it. I use this for my racing, obviously, but I don't see how that would do anything. But I don't really use this iPad for much of anything. But that's quite a few things in there you can, change around. I mean, like I said, I had it a year, and I hardly know what's all in here, because I basically got it going to where it works on my track, and then I leave it alone. I don't need to be the expert on Smartrace. I need it to count laps and whatnot. That's all I use it for. Some guys, they want to dig right in and know every little thing about it. That's fine if that's your personality. Mine's not. I just wanted something to count laps, keep track of races, and this has far exceeded anything I want. You come in here, well, because this is all new now, I won't have anything but like setup and analysis. Okay, hit car tuning. Come into car tuning. Now, I could, speed limit. I could lift mine up. I could slow it down. I could do all of them and make them all go up. Why am I not getting them all? There you go. So there's all of them, you know, apply that. Everybody's at full speed. Okay, I can come brake force, same thing. You can move it around, whatever. You know, we run way down here anyways. And you can also do this from the control unit, but this is just another way to do it. And then apply all to that, and then fuel tank size. And I still haven't figured out the 5 and 6. Why that we had problems racing with in the beginning, where 5 and 6 would have to fuel a lot. So I don't think you can fix that in here. I think what you do here, that's all, everybody's full, right? So apply all. But now if I'm gonna have, you know, 5 and 6 people, somebody on blue and green, I'll do that manually before the race to fill their tank, make it, you know, full size. Seems to work. Haven't had any problems with that. I think those were run like, technically, say the pace car and the ghost car, and that's why they're not adjustable in here. But if you do it from the thing, it will work. Then you have say history. Okay, we go into history. Okay, I don't really have any history because you look at the date there, I just reloaded everything yesterday. But to give you an idea, if I go to my, what is it? So my position was 1, I'm the only one here, Tim. My car was Alpha, my best lap was 7.8, and I had 15 laps, so, 15 laps. So if I go into laps, here you can see up at the top there where the star is, you know, leader, pit stop, personal best, overall best, whatnot. So you come down this list, you know, and you'll see the pink, that was my overall best, 7.815. Green's a very fast lap. Orange is a very slow lap, which I probably have fallen off with that car because that is a no magnet car, and I'm still learning how to drive no magnets. And the BRM's squirrely. I love the way she drives, love the way she looks, but still getting used to it. So come over to statistics. Only available for races, and I think I was doing like a practice thing there. Ticker, not sure what all that shows, but basically, you know, before this all crashed and I had to reload it, I mean, I got probably 15 people that have come and gone, you know, they show and don't show, but over the course of time, I got 15 or 20 maybe people in there, and I can go back and look at every single race, every single lap, you know, it'll tell me how many hours. Now, granted, when you switch cars in a race, like you change races, now you got to go, say, into controller assignment. And now, if we were going to switch over, say, to the 132, my Alpha's a 124. So I need to come into Tim, switch my car. All I got to do is tap on it. Boom. Now I'm racing that Porsche 132. Okay, the thing that we used to do, we'd just start switching, right? Well, the problem, if you don't come in here in between races and switch, any data that gets on here is going to be on that Alpha that I was driving. You know, so if I want this to be accurate, I need to come in, if I'm going to switch a car or a driver, you know, then I would have to change myself. I don't have any other drivers right now, but if somebody was going to be on number 2 controller, you know, I'd have to come in here and take myself off and add them. But I don't have that, so right now I'll just remain that driver, but I have to switch cars, you know. I could go to my Mosler, I love that car too. But essentially what I'm doing there is I'm saving, you know, the history. And I mean, this thing's really pretty cool when it comes to looking back at stuff, how you were running, you know, what kind of lap times you got with what cars. You can see your improvements as you go along. So let's go down here into this manage category. here's my cars. So that's the cars that I got. If you want to add one, you just hit add. Put in a name, whatever, save it. We'll cancel that because I'm not adding a car right now. Come over here, drivers, same thing. Add a driver. You can either, if they have a picture or you want to take a picture of them, take a new photo. Their name, the spoken name's what the machine's going to call out. So we usually run by, I'm Big Daddy. We got Tiny Racer, Tumo, Iceman. There's some of the names, So you basically go through there. We don't use the starting border, color, numbers, or any of that. We don't run teams, so that's not pertinent to us. You could do that though. I see what is it, First State Racing, they run some team events. We haven't got there, but it's an option. Okay, go back to tracks. Obviously I only have the one track here, but if you had a group, you could have, if I went to my buddy's Tom's house and he had a track, I could add all the information about his track and add it, whatever its name would be, and add it. And so if we were here, I'd just hit TNT Motorsports. That's my track. The length, you could put in minimum lap time, maximum lap times, whatever, and then track records. You can see the history. Now, the cool thing about this is, you go in there and, okay, that's a BRM, right? So there's BRM. But now if I want to go NSR, I don't have any times for that car yet, Oops. Well, there I could actually send this information off to anybody in my list, I could copy it, I could print it, I could message it, I could put on Facebook, send it in Messenger directly. I mean, it's kind of cool. So if you wanted to, send everybody that was racing a copy of last night's race or whatever, all their lap times, and it's pretty intense. Like I said, I don't get into the deepest part, and it's part of why this is going in my slot car for dummies thing. This isn't the in-depth, know-all, be-all tutorial on Smartrace. This is just a brief thing since I had to reload it, and now I'm having to reload all my cars, all my people. I figured out I'm messing with it. I might as well make a little video, let people that haven't used it or thinking about a different, software. There's many race management softwares out there. This is just one of many. The one I chose. I like it. I run it on this iPad. I have it direct HDMI that goes to a TV, so everyone here can see that information. Then we have going in here to miscellaneous on Addons. So I go to Addons. I'm part of the Champions Club. So what that includes is championships, and that's an annual, basically $29 per year, and it includes all this stuff. So I got the I got the championships, got the Smartrace Connect server, which allows anybody with a smartphone for free can download the app and then use that as a chaos thing. It works as a driver display. It tells you fuel, keeps track of your penalties, your laps, all that stuff. Simulated damage. So if it takes you longer, a certain amount of time to get around the lap, it assumes you fell off and have damage. So you'll have like battery issues, engine issues. There's, I don't know how many different things can come up as a potential damage to your car that you have to go in and pit. Sets at, I think, 5 seconds to repair most things. So it's almost like a little penalty. Then you have your penalties, so you can sign it manually for penalties, or you can, like what we do, if you crash, you hit your phone, we'll stop the whole track, everybody comes to a dead stop, and you're assessed, because you hit the penalty, you're assessed a 5-second penalty. You could make it whatever you want, but I put it at 5 seconds because that's about a lap, so you're virtually losing a lap if you have to stop the track. It works out good. Virtual safety car, So we don't use one, but that comes in this package. And, you know, it basically, you know, same with anything. It comes out, does its little thing, but I imagine it's all recorded and programmed. Then I got the weather app, so what that'll do is you can set it at 20%, 30, 40, 60, 80%. Okay, you're racing along with no warning. It says it's about to rain. Okay, everybody has their view on that. You can run in and grab some tires in the pits. I got it set for like 15 seconds to change tires. So you go in there, fuel up, change your tires. Now that weather, it's tricky. It may come right on, or it may be a couple minutes. And the problem is, once you've changed them tires, if you're on dry tires and it's raining, I got it set for like 30%. If you're on wet tires and it's wet, it will only run up to 90% of its speed. I think that's how the app is set up. You can lower it, but I think as high as you can get it is 90%. So that's just one thing there. Other thing, let's look at this miscellaneous. Smartrace Connect server. So you click on that, and basically anybody that's here downloads that Carrera or Smartrace Connect, and then they have that app. They open the app, and you just push scan QR code, and boom, it'll bring it up like with all the drivers. You know, you're going to be number one, so it'll show all those yellow, red, blue, green, gray, whatever. You click your color, there your name pops up, the car you're driving, and boom, you're connected. And it'll allow you to stop the race. You can't start the race with that. The person running the track has to do that, but you can stop it. You know, you can watch your fuel. You're supposed to be able to adjust brakes, but we haven't been able to do that while you're running. I think when you're stopped in between races, it works, but I think when you're driving, it doesn't work. But then again, that's something else. I don't get into that deep. What else? New race. So you come in a new race. Okay, you can have your weather. So probability of rain. And right now it's off, but you can, oops. Must have it set on whatchamacallit. Let me set new race. Open main menu. New race. See, I'm only at one lap because I was doing tests yesterday. But normally what we do is we run 50 lap races. We'll run 5 50-lap races for a championship. And how many ghost cars are in here? One or none. We don't run any. Carryover fuel. Now here's something I've had an issue with. I have it set on no. So carryover fuel levels from previous race. Now what we find is when I go to start a new race, even though this says no, if you don't reset the fuel at the control unit before the race, you will start with whatever was left over from the race before. That's something, I don't know if anybody else experiences it, but I have. And probably need to let Mark know about that, because it's annoying if you had a close race the race before and you did a splash and go and you're running on fumes and you got to start a race, and first thing off you got to get fuel. I mean, you're down a lap or two. It takes about, say, 5 to 10 seconds to do a full tank from empty, and you'll be down 2 laps here. So it could be very disadvantageous to you, or disadvantageous. You know, it's not good when you start with an empty tank. So most people remind me before we start the race just to make sure we just add fuel every time. Go into weather, okay, probability. Now you can make that 50%, 100%, whatever. And it, you know, it sets it up. It'll just periodically come in. And it's a funny thing, because you can go in there and get tires. As soon as you get them tires changed, the weather changes back. Then you got to go back in. I mean, it can be frustrating at times, but it's like real racing. You're not in control of the weather. So pit stop in time. So this is tire changes. I have it set at 15 seconds. So when you go in there, number one, if you have a penalty, you don't touch anything. You sit there for whatever that time is. Those penalties are served. If you touch that button, that's the end of it. And I've made this mistake with 30 seconds of penalties. Go in there, at 29 seconds, I've bumped the button, which starts fueling me, but now my penalties are not served. So even though I sat there 29 seconds, it don't serve them 29 seconds of penalty and leave me with 1 second. It just stops it, and I get that full 30 seconds. I got to come back in, because now you have to go out, come back around to start serving them penalties again. It'll kill you. Races are won and lost in the pits, which is just like real racing. I like it. So that's the tire change. Speed on wet tires, dry track. I have it set at 40. You can set it whatever you want. So if it starts raining and you got the dry tires on, if you don't go in there, because you don't have to, you're just going to be running around the track at 40% speed. You'll lose. Brakes on wet track dry, or wet tires dry track, it's 20% of what you'd normally have. Okay, speed on wet tires with a wet track. Okay, so I set it all the way up, and see, that's only 90%. That's what I thought it was, which is fair. I mean, you shouldn't be able to go as fast on wet tires and a wet track as you do on dry tires with dry track. So I think that's fair, but I still like to be able to go somewhat fast. Okay, speed on slick tires, wet track. I like that at 50. So I'll set that at 50. Brakes on slick tires, wet track, 10%. Doesn't really affect you that much. Let me move that back. But I mean, I run very little brake regardless, so I'm used to no brakes. And then start the race. Confirm that. Boom. So that's set for that race. Now this little widget I made here is just displaying my track record, and that's anybody, right? Whoever has that track record. But down in this left-hand corner next to the hand, that little stack of paper or whatever, that's how you create a widget. So you hit that, add a new widget, boom. So then you come into widget, what do you want this thing to do? So you configure it, and basically it'll give you, it'll give you like all these different options, right? So you can assignment, shows all current controller assignments, lets you open assignment, help, display helpful information on how to add a widget, lap times, show all lap times, second times, so there's a lot of things here to choose from that you could just have the widget up. Now we got 6 people usually racing, so I don't need another widget out here. How do I delete it? Okay, deleted. Now that widget's out of there. But I do like to have this this track record one. See, I can move this thing. There was a way to move it. It's just going to stay there for now. But essentially all I wanted to do, since I had to go back in here and prep everything, I thought I'd just do a short little tutorial, not an in-depth tutorial, just a basic, here's how you get going type tutorial. And so people could kind of see, this thing is so in-depth, the amount of things that you do. I don't use half the stuff, and I imagine all race management software is like that. You can get right down into the nitty-gritty of every little thing, and I bet most people don't use a third of what's out there, because you're here to race. You don't want to be penalized for every little thing. Every time you scratch your butt, you're getting penalized and have to go to the pit to serve a penalty. But you want to keep it, where guys, if you're running people off the track, man, you need to get a penalty. You need to be disqualified. You know, we're here to have fun, not tear our cars up. The tearing the cars up, that happens naturally. Don't need any help, you know. So, I don't know. I hope that was helpful to somebody. Like I said, this is a segment for slot cars for dummies. You know, really, I should come up with a better name like newbies. But I'm new, and I'm learning. I'm helping or hoping to help somebody learn, you know, and that's about it. So hopefully this was helpful to somebody. You know, like, subscribe, leave comments, what you'd like to see. If there's anything on here you want to see more in depth, you know, let me know. I'm not, you know, guaranteed that I could facilitate that, but I could definitely look into it, you know. And if there's some way to, you know, that you haven't seen something you'd like to know about on this program, I mean, I recommend it 100%. I just do. The information after races, you know, and championships and everything, that you can go back historically and look at how many laps has this car run. You know, what kind of laps am I getting? I'm just getting into these newer cars, the BRMs and the Revos and the Slottits, NSR, and looking at other cars also. But, you know, the more tunable cars. And it's like, I pretty much pull them out the box, true the tires, throw them on the track. Maybe throw some silicones on if I have them. See what I got, you know. Then as I go along, maybe with like my old Carrera cars, you know, a lot of those, they were in here with history. Now I've lost all that history, but, you know, I basically know what, you know, my Carrera cars would do with magnets, you know. And then when we went to the no magnet, you know, same car, just missing the magnets. Just to see the difference in lap times there, you know, was interesting. And then as we started to do it, it's only been like 3 weeks, but, you know, pure driving, no tuning, no nothing, just pure, you know, timing and whatnot of driving it with no magnets. You know, I was knocking off a second, 2 seconds off some of those cars, you know. And being able to look back at that history, it's interesting. You know, it pays dividends to go back and look where you could have made mistakes, because it tracks every single lap. So you know when you pitted, you know when you came off, you know, you can see, okay, you know, here's what I'm running, say 4 or 5 consistent laps. Okay, and then all of a sudden, boom, you got this thing. Well, I fell off. Or, you know, this lap's just a slight bit off. I must have been hanging it out too far on them corners, you know, which I've noticed. It's cool looking. See a lot of guys making YouTube videos of their car drifting, but there's a point where that car drifts out to a point and you scrub off speed, you know. So it's like you can start to see that when you're looking back at a 50 lap race where, you know, 20 of those laps were scrubbed up. You didn't fall off, but you definitely lost some time there. And it's like, it just helps you, you know, think about it next time you go racing. Hey, that looks cool as hell coming around that corner like that, but you know what? It's not leading to a victory. It's leading to a poor performance. So, I don't know. I'm starting to ramble, so I'll wrap this up. And like I said, like and subscribe. If you have any comments, you know, leave them in there. I'm pretty thick-skinned, so even you trolls are welcome to, you know, give me a negative comment or whatever. Negative comment to me is better than no comment at all. So there you have it. Hope I helped somebody. I'm watching all of you guys. A lot of you have helped me. Slot car guy, Greg Galb and his worldwide slot car. Watch that. I haven't got on there. Don't have the camera thing. Zoom. I'm not a technical genius. As you can see, I'm struggling here with my Smartrace, but basically there's quite a few people I watch on YouTube, and it's helpful to me, and I just hope I can repay and send something out that might be helpful for a newbie. So there you have it. Have a good day. Thanks.